Hey gang, Mechanicus 2 is amazing. I have over 200 hours in this game since the Saturday before it's released, so I'm a little obsessed. Saying that, I have only fully done the Necron campaign at this time, which I have fully uploaded in full with no commentary on this channel. Sorry for the AFK moments and any voice lines that I misclicked and cut short, but if you're interested in this game but not sure yet, have a little ×2 speed through those. And as much as I got this key for free, I was gonna glaze this game hard anyway, and because I've been giggling like a madman for half a week since I couldn't talk about this, I've been using terms such as in the tombs right now, me when I find an unguarded tomb, and the children yearn for the tombs. I can't stop and I won't stop. You can't take the tombs away from me. I will try and keep the story vague in this video so I don't spoil it for you, and I do have a few videos coming up for quick tips, guides, and lore of characters and units and the overall story. So like, sub, become a channel member, etc, tyty. Actually, before we look at the game, the music. Oh my god, the music. It's pretty much the Mechanicus 1 music that we were and are still obsessed with, but now with extra layers and bass and depth, and it's just like, As soon as it's on Spotify, it's going on the stream music playlist for painting. It's just so good. There is, however, no music on the loading screens, and I think it's a little lacking in some of the skirmishes, but there's enough ambience from the anti-air cannons and planes flying over, so I didn't really notice it too much on my playthroughs. So the prologue is the demo that we had from before, and then we can choose to play as the Magus Dominus Faustinius to lead the Adeptus Mechanicus in the forging of Hecateus IV, to take the planet from the sleeping Xenos, or as Nephishov, Vargard to the Pharaon Sankotep, leading the Necrons in their awakening and defense of Kivroth against the vermin invaders looting their world. Now, as I've only done the Necron campaign as of making this video, I have only battled against what they referred to as the Kin, a league of labourers. This is of course the Votan, who have crash-landed. They appear to be fighting with the AdMech, although I imagine on the AdMech campaign there is all sorts of toxicity between them, much like the internal politics on the Necron side. Fighting them is a lot different to the AdMech, as they have more techie laser beam weapons compared to the more primitive bullets and flamethrowers of the AdMech. Also, if you play or watch my playthrough, listen to the voice lines during the skirmishes. I have a few of them stuck in my head, and I'm already cool having a manual gunstrike in Space Marine 2 after playing Tech Marine for too long medieval, and this game has just made me even more anti-AdMech with my Necron superiority. Sticks and stones will have trouble breaking these living metal bones. Like, sometimes it's like they try so hard and they get so far, but in the end, I'm better than them with my Locust Destroyer nuking them from 100 miles away. Sorry, but it's true. I will play the AdMech campaign next though, so don't worry, there will be some anti-Necron conspiracies in there. Much like Mechanicus 1, you do these single little skirmishes of offense and defense. This is defending tombs from attacks and regaining lost territory for Necrons, or taking new territory for the AdMech, defending forged cities or temples, or as a Necron attacking the forged cities and temples, and taking little assignments to reawaken tombs, bolster allied lords, etc. Each campaign is in 3 acts. Not gonna lie, I couldn't really tell when I reached a new act. There are these cool PowerPoint minimal animation cinematics at various spots throughout the story though. There's a few in the prologue, and then one at the end of Act 2, and then one at the end of Act 3. So I think I have my playthroughs split up correctly, bar the last mission of Act 2, which kept failing recording, so I stuck it on the start of Act 3. Again, without spoiling the story, it's essentially as you would expect of a Necron tomb world. The lore from the dialogues is just glorious. There's backstabbing, politics, upgrades, banter, silly quips, and the art is lovely. All the drawn characters and the voice acting is just peak, but not the climbing game. The variety in units you can take is also awesome. Each lord has his specialty, of course, so might not be able to get every unit type, but I have my favorites. For example, my boy Fekon can take 3 heavy Locust Destroyers, which feels so satisfying to have, and just plow down units with the blaster or the amnitic gun, and having Immortals with Tesla carbines for that sweet chain lightning. And of course you can't forget our favorite unhinged boys, the flayed ones. I'm going to do a couple of deep dive videos into each of the leaders, the lords, and then going over all the units. And then some little in case you missed the pop-up tutorials type things covering Dominion, abilities, weapons, and mission types. And to make this a fair review with some downsides, in Mechanicus 1, you got to make your own tech priest with more personalized traits and specializations, which changed how your playthrough went. This was really nice to make your game more fluid and unique to how you wanted to play. In Mechanicus 2, you have 5 pre-built lords essentially, and they cover all of the main gaming archetypes: the generic soldier, range specialist, a stealth guy, tank, and horde support. As much as you can't personalize them, and it's a lot simpler in terms of units you take on missions, I did quite like this, and I did play each lord fairly equally, which I think was pretty good, because otherwise I wouldn't have played anyone but the stealth glass cannon and the horde support. But I can see why people wouldn't prefer this to having a single lord with more customization. I will admit, however, I feel like I remember in Mechanicus 1 being able to change the color of my units, so instead of all being Mechanicus red, I could make them orange or pink. I would have loved to have been able to make my Necrons glow McLaren papaya or a neon pink. There is also the loss of units. In Mechanicus 1, if I lost a unit, it was pretty bad. That unit was dead and gone, and I had to retrain and re-level a whole new guy. But in this one, it's a lot more forgiving in that it gives you back your generic units over time that respawn the same level as they died. This makes leveling up with resources much less risky in case of loss, and therefore the game can feel much less punishing if something dies. I admit, I ended up using small units as throwaways to pull aggro and kite enemies, not caring if my unit died, because I knew it would just respawn after the mission anyway. So yeah, I would recommend this game. As always, thanks for listening to my yap, subscribe for more. I also cover Space Marine 2 and Total War 40k, so consider becoming a channel member so you can vote for things for me to paint, content you want, and my exclusive Discord channel for members where I post photos of my kitten. I also paint live here and on Twitch, and I'm prepping my painting channel for tutorials, so go sub over there if you want to learn how to paint. Okay, TYTY for watching, and see ya.